is awesome. This is going to be the thing that you get to auction off with, and we'll get a picture from the stage of everybody with this like on their face, and so you get to be in that picture. And it comes with an unannounced positive amount of Litecoin on the back. And the gotcha is you're going to have to download the Nexus app to cash this amount in. So you'll have to get the Nexus app, which you can use the weapon to scribe your little 20 words in from Losh's thing yesterday. If you missed that, it was great. Rewind and look at that. But so you want to stay till the end because we're auctioning off somewhere between $100 and a Lamborghini amount of Litecoin. And there's other live auction things that are happening. That'll be fun. And the big surprise is at the end with the final panel after lunch. Zayn, I forgot already, hold on. Kalyan. Zayn Kalyan is an experienced investment banker and business development executive, starting his career as a software engineer. His background in the ground-up development of startup technology companies serves as his foundation in finance. Zayn has been involved in the digital asset space since 2014, beginning with small-scale Bitcoin mining and the startup of Centralized in Exchange in 2017. He's currently the CEO of Hummingbird W3 Capital, an active digital asset holding company with multiple investments in the crypto space. As a partner at Altus Capital Partners, Zayn has played an instrumental role in the origination of over $100 million in financing for startups and digital asset companies as well. I'm sorry we read that part of it. That'll make the rest of your day annoying while everybody comes to you for money, but that's okay. Please welcome Zayn Kalyan, advisor for Luxfolio. And you're going to have friends with you or just alone? Just you, okay. I got either one.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, and thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak here today. It's been a great conference. Really impressed with the speakers, and had a really fortunate opportunity yesterday to listen to a lot of the talks, and was very impressed. At the end of the day today, I want to talk about Luxfolio. It's a company that I was involved in founding and have been very involved with since the beginning. And the message I want to talk about is why we bet the Treasury on Litecoin. So at the outset, I do want to highlight that the core principles of crypto, from our perspective, support a diaspora of blockchains. While I'm sure many of the people here, myself included, were very early in Bitcoin, we don't necessarily, and we're very bullish on Litecoin, that doesn't necessarily dispose us to one or the other. I think at the end of the day, we want a community where we support a diaspora of blockchains. We really want to support the community in that respect. I think that's core to the tenets of Litecoin as well. We heard Charlie talk a lot about that yesterday. We're a non-toxic community, and I think at the end of the day, this is not about Litecoin being better than Bitcoin. It's about the benefits of Litecoin in this community, in this diaspora. So that said, I heard that there was a couple times yesterday where there was this analogy was made, and I had this in my deck before that, but Bitcoin was supposed to be the rebellion, and it's been re-engineered by the empire. And I think that really rings true. If you look at the conference today, yourselves, everyone here, really are supporters of decentralization, privacy, self-custody, resistance against censorship, and ultimately leveraging digital assets and digital currency for the core use case of money and payments. If you look at the circus down the street earlier this week, the message has kind of been corrupted. It's been corrupted by TradFi, and it's been corrupted by a lot of people. And I think at the end of the day, we really need to get away from this institutionalization of speculation and back to a decentralized revolution. So in the context of all of that happening, you do have this fiat system fading. And well, when digital assets kind of first came to the scene in 2009, 2008, or 2009, 2010, fiat was still, digital assets have come a long way, is I guess the message I'm trying to say. But at the same time, in the economic environment we exist today, you can see that there's sovereign debt is ballooning, bond markets are breaking. The sovereign is under a lot of pressure, and with that, there is this shift and this opportunity for decentralized money, whether that be Litecoin, Bitcoin, et cetera, to really come to the forefront and be a hedge. And you're seeing this in countries like El Salvador, you're seeing this in countries like Argentina, where inflation and fiat money are really not functional anymore, and you need to get to something like decentralized currency. And that really is the benefit. As fiat falters, Litecoin rises. It's not only as a layer of trust, but also as money. And that's really the message. We need to get back to thinking about digital assets as money. And it's ironic too, because that was the basis, that was the start of digital currency. That was what Satoshi set out in the original paper. The use case of Bitcoin was as money. But since that time, we've seen season after season of speculation. The industry has focused so much on how to leverage Bitcoin, how to speculate on price appreciation. And don't get me wrong, all these things, ICOs, NFTs, DeFi, meme coins, like as I run a fund that is invested in digital assets. We're obviously betting on speculation. But at the end of the day, the opportunity is for us to get back to thinking about digital assets purely for payments, and that's where we're at today. Stablecoins are really that opportunity. They're the bridge that will bring us back to thinking about digital assets and having mainstream adoption being the killer app. The killer app of cryptocurrency is payments, and it was the original application, and we're getting back to that finally today, and stablecoins are leading that front. But as we evolve, stablecoins are still linked to fiat, and that's where something like Litecoin, specifically Litecoin, really has the opportunity. It's a bridge to thinking about digital currency as money, specifically UXTO currencies, and at the forefront of that, Litecoin. And alongside that, we're seeing this resurgence of proof of work. I think proof of work was the original. It is truly decentralized. Litecoin is more decentralized than any currency that I can think of. If you think about all these proof of stake models, they're all under a lot of they're all in some way or one or another. And you're going to see in the market structure legislation that comes through in the next couple months, there's going to be a big focus on how these chains launch and how they kind of came to the forefront, and that's going to result in a lot of, how would I put it, a lot of scrutiny, and with that, proof of work is already coming out. You're seeing that with all the announcements yesterday, LitVM, all the ordinals, the Bitcoin and Litecoin computer project, all of these layer 2 projects that are being built on top of proof of work systems are showing that there is this refocus back on proof of work, and at the end of the day, Litecoin is at the forefront. Litecoin has the advantage, and that's why we're so bullish on Litecoin and why we really want to get involved in this community. So what is Luxfolio? Now, the irony is not lost on me. Luxfolio is the first publicly traded Litecoin first company. That is our core focus. But the irony is not lost on me, and the arguable hypocrisy of promoting decentralization and being so committed to that while talking about a company that is effectively a proxy. We're a publicly traded company that invests in Litecoin. That said, we do believe in stepping stones. We are in a place where the industry is evolving rapidly, and my partners and I, we had access to a really great investor network, and we wanted to provide a vehicle for them to be able to get exposure and invest in this revolution and this transition. That's why we started Luxfolio. We're building a treasury exclusively of Litecoin, and we're leveraging that treasury to invest in Litecoin and the community. We're funding open source development, we're backing grassroots builders, we're investing in infrastructure, and we're partnering with entrepreneurs. We've met a number of great companies here, a number of great projects here over the past couple days. We're actively getting involved, we're rolling up our sleeves, not only with capital, but also with our talent and our team. And at the end of the day, we're not doing this to bet on speculation. Yes, we do think there's going to be immense price appreciation in Litecoin, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But kind of coming back to it, we just see so much opportunity for use case. We see that Litecoin has the potential to be the future of money and truly be money, and that's what we want to get involved in, and we want to really help build the ecosystem. So how are we doing that? First and foremost is supporting the community. Second, building this treasury. We do want to be able to provide a very large treasury of Litecoin that can be leveraged by the community as well. We can provide liquidity. We can help support the community. We can help drive adoption with this large treasury. And a lot of people maybe say initially this looks kind of like a MicroStrategy. We don't have any leverage on our treasury. We're not doing any kind of wacky financial engineering similar to MicroStrategy. We're much more pure. We're issuing pure equity and we're leveraging the money that we issue with equity to invest in Litecoin. Alongside that, we really do believe that as being perfect money, there are gaps and in the applications that exist out there today. And core amongst those is the ability to accept payments and the ability to accept payments from a self-custody perspective. We just heard a great presentation from K-Qual, and I think that that's a great product. But I also think that there is a gap in the market, specifically when it comes to businesses. All of the self-custody products out there that are out there today, whether it be from hardware wallets all the way to, call it Web3, purely purely self-custody wallets that exist on your phone, all of these products are focused on the individual. They're all focused on individual use. But there's very few products out there that are really focused on the SME. They're not really focused on the business. And if we're going to see this mass adoption of not only stablecoins, so call it USDC being accepted to buy your coffee at Starbucks, you're also going to need to see this, and whether it's stablecoins or Litecoin, you're going to need to see the tools for the small business to be able to actually accept this. And we don't want those tools to be custodial. We want them to be self-custody. We want them to be truly decentralized. And we feel that that's a great opportunity for us to really help the community and leverage our technical talent to be able to build solutions in that space. And that's one of the first things that we're going to be investing in. Alongside that, I think to have any kind of credibility as a treasury company, we do want to be an active member in the network. And doing some modest, small-scale clean energy mining, we are a Canadian-based company. We have access to very cost-effective and clean power, and we're going to leverage that. So we are going to be starting up a small-scale mining operation, really just to support the network, but there is some obviously cash flow incentives with that, and I think that benefits the company and our investors. And then finally is stablecoins. So we heard a lot over the past couple days about different products that are going to, smart contract products, layer 2s, built on Litecoin that are going to enable us to support this. And whether those stablecoins are fiat backed or we're talking just purely about Litecoin for payments, I think there's a lot of potential for both. And it's all about stepping stones. Fiat currency is not going anywhere anytime soon, but having stablecoins like USDC, like proprietary stablecoins that are for other sovereigns, having those exist on Litecoin as the network is a huge opportunity, and we want to be at the forefront of that as well. So working with partners like LitVM, working with partners like the Litecoin Computer Group, those are all things that we're going to get very involved with as we continue to build this company out. So I want to give credit to this slide for Master BTC LTC, Free Master, hashtag Free Master. He did a really great job of helping us with this slide, but this is a really great slide just to illustrate the true growth potential. You can see here that with the growth of the Litecoin network and where we're sitting today in comparison to Bitcoin, there is a huge discrepancy in where we should be. And ultimately, that's where we do see that as the network continues to grow, as we start to see further adoption, as we start to see this transition back to proof of work, we're really going to be in a position where you're going to see price appreciation in Litecoin. And as I said, we're not about speculation, but at the end of the day, price appreciation in Litecoin just brings more attention to it as money, and that ultimately will grow. And I think it really is core to the message and core to the goal of where we're taking this company, as well as where the Litecoin community wants Litecoin to be. So in terms of visions, target, and where we think Litecoin's going to be, our goal today is by the end of 2025, I encourage everyone to keep a close look on the market over the next couple weeks. We will be announcing a pretty strong financing. Luxfolio will be. And with that, we intend to acquire about 100,000 Litecoin before the end of the year, and over 1 million Litecoin by the end of 2026. That will put us as a very large treasury that we believe will be a strategic pool of assets that can be leveraged by the community as a whole, and working with the partners and the various other companies that exist and being able to partner with them. In terms of a price target, this is also something that Master helped me with earlier today. If you kind of look at if we assume $1 million Bitcoin thesis by 2030, and you look at the ratio of where we're trading today, that's at least a $10,000 Litecoin by 2030. Now, if you look at where we should be in terms of where the market, I think I can go back here, in terms of where the network has grown and what the ratio logically should look like, that puts us at nearly $150,000 per Litecoin. Now, all of this is assuming $1 million Bitcoin theory or thesis, but at the end of the day, we really do believe that given the macro environment we exist in today, there is a need for a proof of work currency, and that currency being used truly as money, and that's where we think Litecoin fills that void. So I have a little bit of time here, but at the end of the day, we are Luxfolio. Really appreciate the time. As I said, we do publicly trade on the CSC, the Canadian Stock Exchange, and the OTC, and we're going to be growing aggressively this year. We're looking to upgrade to a U.S. primary listing here in the next 12 months, and on the back of that, we're going to be really investing in the community, and I think you'll see a lot of strategic news coming out in the coming months. Thank you.